the MLS is open to considering sovereign wealth fund investments. What a time to say that. When we know, like, with what Saudi Arabia is doing around the world, with what Qatar is doing, trying to buy Manchester United, with what they've done with the Monumental Group, the group that owns Qatar owns now a small percentage of that. I mean, what a crazy time. But this money that's going into sports is ridiculous. And then some more comments. Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, obviously, said they could contemplate the idea at some point. Now, why the two? Why am I mentioning the two? Because a lot of NFL owners own MLS teams. So there's a bit of relationship there, which makes things really, really interesting. What's your outlook on things?
Well, one of those rules in sports is, money talks. And they're seeing the valuations of these MLS clubs start to climb. Obviously, the last one in San Diego was a 500 million.
Egyptian billionaire.
Yeah, and what was once an up and coming acquisition to get an MLS club for 25 or 30 million is now last one that was sold without a stadium, that required a stadium build was 325 million. And now you've got a $500 million fee paid for San Diego. You're going to, hey, if you want to keep expanding, there's only a certain amount of guys that can pay that number. We've covered the PIF and the sovereign wealth funds here on numerous occasions, given the moves they made in sport. And so naturally, we can see them come here. The NBA has talked about it. Obviously, MLS is now discussing it. We've seen, the move that Ted Leonsis and Monumental made to bring in the Qatari fund. Timing wise, kind of interesting with Ronaldo's comments about how he opened the door to the Saudi League and top players are coming here, that the MLS is still a retirement league. So, hey, the Saudis, have always, not been afraid to elevate with their wallets. So if they come over here and, get involved in MLS, maybe we do see, more European players coming over here because obviously the dynamics around Messi are going to expand the eyeballs. I think that the infrastructure and the salary structure of the league may take a jump. And if that takes place, a Saudi or a sovereign wealth ownership group. I mean, we've talked with some other billionaire groups that are interested in the growth of U.S. Soccer in the U.S. It's going to take some ownership groups with deep pockets, to start meeting those demands at this level. Look, you're right. There's some natural cross promotion there with Arthur Blank owning Atlanta, and you got David Tepper owning Charlotte. You've got Seattle, I think owned. Having some ownership. Yeah, there's a few of them, but it's there will be some crossover. And look, I think Roger Goodell also leans that way. Not as much about U.S., but as they expand, and if they expand into Europe, then that's a natural play for sovereign wealth money to come in and get a franchise in London or get a franchise in Germany or Spain or somewhere else. Or hey, let's not rule out one in Riyadh or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, because it's only money. So it could happen.
My is Qatar, actually.
Yeah, well, the Qataris have been, obviously very aggressive, with their soccer acquisitions, on the global scale. So, it would just be a natural move to get involved here, and maybe we see them, start, making some moves, throughout, North America. I mean, we are kind of hosting the World Cup. Yeah. Qatar Airways is all over was all over the Gold Cup. So Qatar was in was in CONCACAF. Go figure.
Yeah.
Talk about a buy-in. One hell of a buy-in.
Champions League 2022 World Cup. They're all over football. All right. Yeah. Let's keep going. Staying in football. Well, it's been a big football episode, actually. Football/soccer. Paramount Plus agrees to a 20 million euro per season shirt sponsorship with Inter Milan. So just some background story. For the Champions League final last year, there was a reported 10 million euro deal, like a one-off branding opportunity with Paramount Plus as well, which is interesting with its own right. Within its own right. What's the play here? Is Paramount trying to move into the Italian market or the European market, or what is the play here?
Well, I mean, look, the streaming play is certainly something that's out there. My guess is, is this a kind of a preemptive, opportunity for Paramount to, find some more programming for their streaming channel. Do they want to, do some creative, as we talked about with Inter Miami, what's the Apple TV, series that's going to come out of it? Inter Milan is, obviously got some U.S. Affiliated ownership to it. Obviously we've got some Americans that have made the move over to Serie A. So the guess is there's going to be some more American eyeballs on that league. But Paramount's got some good programming, and maybe they are looking to expand that streaming subscription base into Europe. And look, soccer is it. If you're gonna make your name over in Europe right now, I mean, it's get on a kit or get involved with a with a club. You've got sleeves or run a kit. Find a way to expose your brand to a global billions of eyeballs that are consuming the sport, and so that's kind of my thought there. But again, I haven't read anything that says, hey, Paramount's coming out with a new Hard Knocks series.
Not yet.
But heck, the writer strike is going on. You're going to need some programming, and there's nothing like some live content, from a club you sponsor.
For sure. Interesting to see how that deal plays out. It's a big one.
It's a big number, good number, and obviously they had what was it, Digibet, that was
something like that.
Yeah, they lost a crypto partner off the front of the kit, so Paramount's a safe brand, if you will, not going anywhere. So carries a little bit of cachet to it. So so got to clean it up and see where it goes. But I just think it's interesting that you're seeing streaming channels take that role. I mean, what will follow? So it should be interesting.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Rob, as always. It's an absolute pleasure. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
All right, my friend.